For years, Pope Francis's sister has lived a life in the shadows, far away from the spotlight. While her brother, Pope Francis, has been at the center of the Catholic Church, millions of people have admired him, looked up to him, and followed his every move. Yet, his sister has remained largely hidden from the public eye. She's known to be a quiet woman who hasn't sought attention or made her presence known in the media. But why has she chosen to speak out now? What has led her to break her silence after so many years? It's a question that will spark curiosity in anyone who's ever wondered about the private life of someone so publicly important. People might ask themselves, why has she remained silent all these years? What has she been holding back, and why does she feel it's time to reveal the truth? The timing itself creates suspense. There's a sense of mystery in her decision to share her thoughts, and it draws people in, eager to understand what she has to say. We know very little about the life of Pope Francis's sister. She has always stayed away from the spotlight, preferring to lead a private life. Most people probably have never even seen her, and certainly many don't know much about her background, her personality, or her relationship with her famous brother. This lack of information only adds to the mystery. For many, Pope Francis is a symbol of faith, love, and charity. He's seen as a humble leader of the Catholic Church who has worked hard to make the world a better place. But behind this public figure, who is he really? And how does his sister see him? Her silence is filled with years of untold stories, hidden emotions, and personal experiences that she has kept to herself. For so long she has watched as her brother became one of the most famous men in the world, and perhaps it hasn't always been easy. The weight of being related to someone so famous must be a heavy burden to carry. While millions of people have listened to his speeches, followed his actions, and admired his work, his sister has kept her own life largely private, never sharing her side of the story. Now, with her breaking her silence, people are eager to know what has she been through. What stories does she have to tell? This is where the curiosity starts to build. What exactly does she know about Pope Francis's life that no one else has shared? Does she have personal memories of their childhood together? Has she seen a side of him that the world doesn't know? What is it about him that only she as his sister can understand? For many people, family members can be the only ones who truly know us, our struggles, and our inner thoughts. And now, Pope Francis's sister is finally speaking out about what she knows. The fact that she has remained quiet for so long adds another layer of intrigue. Why did she choose to stay silent in the first place? Was it out of respect for her brother's position? Was it because she didn't want to take the attention away from him, or was there something more personal that kept her from speaking out? These questions make people wonder what has been going on in her life all these years. Has she been struggling with her own feelings, or has she simply kept her emotions to herself for the sake of family peace? Breaking her silence now feels like a bold and unexpected decision. Perhaps something has happened that made her feel it's the right time to reveal the truth. The world has always been fascinated by the lives of celebrities, especially when it comes to their families. People want to know what their loved ones think, feel, and experience. It's almost as if Pope Francis's sister's voice has been missing from the conversation for far too long, and now she is ready to step forward and tell her story. This moment is also significant because it shows that even the most well-known figures have a personal side that remains hidden from the public. Pope Francis may be a world leader, but he's also a brother, a son, and a man who has lived through experiences that the world may never fully understand. His sister's decision to speak out allows us to see him in a new light, through the eyes of someone who has known him all his life. As her words begin to make their way into the world, there will no doubt be a sense of shock and surprise. People will be eager to hear what she has to say, how she sees her brother, and what she believes the world doesn't know about him. There's a lot to uncover, and each revelation will spark more questions, making people want to learn more. The truth, after all, has a way of drawing people in, and once someone starts telling their story, there's no turning back. What started as a quiet life in the background may soon turn into a story the world won't be able to stop talking about. In the end, Pope Francis's sister breaking her silence is not just about the shocking truths she may reveal. It's about the deeper understanding we can gain from hearing the voices of those closest to famous figures. Their stories are just as important as the ones we hear from the public. What she shares may change the way we view Pope Francis, but it will also help us realize that even the most private lives have their moments of truth, and it's never too late to share them. When Pope Francis's sister decided to share her story, everyone knew it would be something that would capture attention. But what was it about her truth that made it so startling? What exactly was she going to reveal? The world has known Pope Francis for many years as a figure of great respect and admiration. He has been seen as a symbol of humility, kindness, and compassion. His speeches have inspired millions, and his actions as the leader of the Catholic Church have been widely praised. But despite his public image, there must be things about him that only those closest to him can truly understand. And now, Pope Francis's sister is ready to share her perspective, one that the world has never heard before. The word startling immediately grabs attention. It suggests that what is about to be revealed is not just interesting but surprising, something that will make people pause and rethink what they thought they knew. It promises that her truth will be something unexpected, perhaps challenging what the world believes about Pope Francis. This creates a sense of anticipation and curiosity. What is it that she has to say that will surprise everyone? What details has she been keeping secret all these years, and why is she ready to share them now? The curiosity surrounding her story is intense. People are fascinated by the lives of those who are connected to powerful figures, especially when those figures are as well known as Pope Francis. But the sister of the Pope is a different story. She has stayed largely out of the spotlight, choosing not to share her life with the world. Now her decision to speak up draws attention to her relationship with Pope Francis. Could she be revealing something about him that we don't know? Something personal? Something about their childhood, their relationship or their experiences together that has been hidden for so long? As the world waits for her to share her truth, the questions continue to build. Has she witnessed a side of Pope Francis that the public hasn't seen? Does she have memories of him from before he became the Pope, when he was just her brother? What kind of relationship do they have? Did he ever share his struggles with her? What moments of his life does she remember most? These are the kinds of questions that will keep people on the edge of their seats, eager to hear what she has to say. The fact that she has chosen this moment to speak is significant in itself. Why now? Why has she waited all these years only to reveal the truth at this particular time? What has changed in her life, or in the world, that made her feel this was the right moment to share her side of the story? The term startling truth implies that her revelations won't be what people expect. She might not be sharing typical family stories or harmless memories from their past. Instead, it suggests that what she has to say will force people to see Pope Francis in a new light. Could she be revealing something about his past that challenges the public image of him as a perfect leader? Could there be aspects of his personality or his life choices that are different from what the world believes? The idea of a startling truth keeps people guessing, and this uncertainty about what exactly will be revealed creates even more curiosity. What makes her truth so startling might not only be what she reveals about her brother, but also about herself. After all, sharing the truth about someone else also means exposing parts of herself. What has she gone through? How has being Pope Francis's sister affected her life? Has it been difficult to live in the shadow of such a prominent figure? Has she ever felt overlooked or misunderstood? These are the types of questions that people will wonder about as they wait to hear what she has to say. Her revelations will likely touch on both her brother's life and her own, giving a unique perspective on the challenges and experiences that come with being a family member of such a public figure. For many people, hearing from Pope Francis's sister will also give a glimpse into the private life of someone who has been a world leader for years. While Pope Francis has shared his thoughts with the public countless times, his sister has not. This makes her perspective valuable. She is in a position to share personal insights that no one else can. As she speaks, the world will get a rare look at the man behind the title. The truth she shares will not just be about her brother, but also about what it's like to be close to someone who is at the center of so much attention and power. The word truth is important here because it implies that what Pope Francis's sister shares is not just speculation or opinion, it is her honest and direct account of her experiences and her relationship with her brother. This truth might be difficult for some people to accept, especially if it challenges the public image of Pope Francis. But that's what makes it so compelling. Truths that are hard to hear often have the greatest impact. People want to know the reality, even if it's not what they expect. This desire for the truth is what keeps the audience hooked, wondering what will come next. As she opens up and shares her truth, the world will be listening closely. Each word she says will carry weight, and the impact of her revelations will be felt across the globe. Her story will not only change the way people see Pope Francis, but it will also shed light on the complexities of being a part of a family with such a public figure. The truth she shares has the power to alter perceptions, shift opinions, and spark conversations around the world. It will give people a deeper understanding of Pope Francis, his journey, and the people who have been closest to him. The truth that Pope Francis's sister is about to share is more than just surprising. It's a chance to uncover a side of the Pope that few people know. It's a moment that will change the narrative, offering a new and personal perspective on one of the world's most famous figures. And as people wait to hear her story, they'll be left wondering, what will this startling truth reveal about Pope Francis, and what does it tell us about the man behind the public persona? The relationship between Pope Francis and his sister is one that has been shrouded in mystery. For years, while Pope Francis has been at the forefront of the global stage, his sister has lived in relative obscurity. While the world has been captivated by his actions and his leadership of the Catholic Church, very little has been known about his family life, especially the role his sister played in it. Now, as she prepares to speak about him, the curiosity grows even stronger. What does she know about her brother that the rest of us don't? What has she seen and experienced that could offer a different side to the man the world knows as Pope Francis? Pope Francis is not just any religious leader. He is a global figure, admired by millions for his compassion, humility, and commitment to change. He has become the face of the Catholic Church in a time of turmoil and challenge. His public persona is one of kindness and approachability, but what about the man behind the title? This is where his sister comes in. She is the person who has known him the longest, who grew up with him, and who has shared in the experiences that shaped him into the person he is today. Her perspective could offer a unique and personal glimpse into his life, something that no one else can provide. For the public, the image of Pope Francis has always been one of a man who leads with great authority, but also with great care for others. He is the symbol of the Catholic Church's mission to serve the poor, the sick, and the oppressed. He has taken the Church in a new direction, calling for reforms and a deeper sense of humility among its followers. But how does his sister see him? How has he been as a brother, and what kind of relationship have they had over the years? This is what makes her perspective so valuable. She is someone who has seen him not just as the Pope, but as a person, a man with a family, a history, and a past that the world doesn't know much about. As her voice finally breaks through the silence, the world is eager to hear her side of the story. People want to know, what kind of brother is Pope Francis? Was he always the humble, thoughtful person we see today, or has he gone through struggles that only his sister can understand? There are so many unanswered questions, and her account promises to shed light on these hidden aspects of his life. Her words will allow the public to see a side of Pope Francis that very few people have had the privilege to witness. Her story could help paint a fuller picture of who he is beyond his role as Pope. As the world waits to hear from her, the suspense builds. The fact that she has remained silent for so long only adds to the intrigue. What has she been holding back all these years? Has she been watching from the sidelines as her brother became one of the most influential figures in the world? What has been her role in his life? People are curious to know what it was like for her growing up with someone who would one day become the leader of one of the largest religions in the world. Did their relationship change when he entered the church, and how did it evolve when he became Pope? There's a deep curiosity surrounding how she views her brother's journey. People want to understand how his family has shaped him. How did his upbringing influence the man he became? Pope Francis is known for his focus on humility and service, but what does his sister think of this? What does she see in him that others might miss? Has he always been the same person, or did something change in his life that led him to choose the path he did? These questions add a layer of curiosity that many people will be eager to have answered. The relationship between siblings is one of the most personal and intimate connections a person can have. Siblings grow up together, share experiences, and form bonds that are often stronger than any other. For Pope Francis and his sister, their relationship spans a lifetime. What has she seen in him over the years that no one else has? What memories does she carry with her that reveal a more personal side of the Pope? Perhaps she has memories of him as a young man before the world knew him as Pope Francis. What kind of brother was he then? Was he always the kind-hearted, humble person that people admire today, or did he have a different side to him that few people saw? There is also a deep curiosity about how she feels about the choices he has made in his life. Pope Francis's journey to becoming Pope was not an easy one, and it involved years of dedication and sacrifice. What did his sister think of those decisions? Was she supportive of his choice to enter the priesthood, or did she have doubts? Did she understand the path he was taking, or did she see him struggle with the demands of his role? These are questions that only she can answer, and her responses will provide insight into the personal side of the man behind the title. For Pope Francis's sister, sharing her thoughts about her brother is not just about telling the world what she knows, it's about revealing the bond they share, one that has lasted a lifetime. Her story will offer a glimpse into their family dynamics, their shared experiences, and the moments that have shaped both of their lives. It's a chance to understand how their relationship has been affected by his rise to prominence, and how they have navigated their lives together as siblings. For the public, this will be an opportunity to see Pope Francis as a person, not just a pope. The world has known Pope Francis as a symbol of faith, humility, and leadership. But there's so much more to him than what the public sees. His sister's perspective promises to offer a new and deeper understanding of the man behind the white robe. She is the one who has known him longer than anyone else, and her account will allow the world to see a different side of him, one that is more human, more relatable, and perhaps more complex than we have imagined. As she begins to share her thoughts and memories, the public will be drawn into a new narrative, one that will allow them to connect with Pope Francis on a more personal level. In the end, Pope Francis's sister is offering the world something rare, a glimpse into the life of one of the most famous figures in the world, seen through the eyes of the person who has known him longest. Her words will help to humanize him in a way that nothing else can. The world is eager to hear what she has to say, and the answers she provides will give us a better understanding of not just Pope Francis, but of the power of family, the bonds that shape us, and the experiences that define us. For many years, Pope Francis's sister has lived in the background, far from the public eye. While her brother has risen to the pinnacle of global attention, she has quietly stayed out of the spotlight, keeping her life private. To the outside world, she is a mystery. She has chosen not to share her personal experiences, her thoughts, or her feelings about being related to one of the most famous people in the world. But why has she stayed so silent for so long? Why did she choose to live in the shadows while Pope Francis became such a well-known figure? This is a question that has sparked much curiosity over the years. As her silence is finally broken, people are eager to understand what has been going on in her life during all this time. When someone close to a public figure lives a life in the shadows, it often makes people more curious about them. We wonder what it would be like to live in the shadow of such a powerful and influential person. How does it feel to be the sister of someone who is admired by millions? What is it like to watch your brother become the Pope, while you remain out of the limelight? People are naturally curious about this. It's a question that many would like to have answered, and it's something that Pope Francis's sister will likely address as she begins to share her story. For years she has been content to remain in the background, keeping her life private. But what has she been through during this time? What has she experienced that the world doesn't know about? What challenges has she faced living under the shadow of her brother's fame? There's a certain mystery to her life, and it's a mystery that will undoubtedly draw people in as she starts to speak out. She's a woman who has lived through a unique set of circumstances, being the sister of someone so well known, and her perspective on this life is something that very few people can understand. As she shares her story, the world will get a rare glimpse into the experiences that shaped her, and how she has dealt with the challenges of being related to a global figure like Pope Francis. The idea of living in the shadows can evoke a sense of loneliness or isolation. For Pope Francis's sister, her quiet life away from the public eye might have allowed her to remain independent, but it could also have meant that she had to face challenges without the support or recognition that comes with being in the spotlight. People will be curious to know whether she has ever felt overlooked or left out. Has she ever struggled with her place in the world, knowing that her brother is the Pope, and has such a powerful influence over millions of people? These are questions that will keep people wondering. It's not easy to live in the shadow of someone so famous. It can be both a privilege and a challenge, and Pope Francis's sister's story will likely touch on the complex emotions she has felt throughout her life. There is also curiosity about what has kept her quiet for all these years. Why did she decide to remain silent while her brother became one of the most important figures in the world? Was it because she didn't want to draw attention away from him? Was she content with her private life, or did she feel that her story wasn't important enough to share? Perhaps she has always wanted to stay out of the media and live a life of anonymity, or maybe she simply didn't want to be associated with the public image of her brother. This silence has created a sense of mystery, and now as she chooses to speak out, people are eager to understand why she has remained silent for so long. Her decision to break her silence is a momentous one, and it will likely be met with a great deal of interest. People will want to know what has motivated her to speak up now. What has changed in her life or in the world that has made her feel that this is the right time to share her story? There's a natural curiosity about what has been happening behind the scenes, what the world hasn't seen, and what Pope Francis's sister has been experiencing all these years. As she opens up, she will reveal the truth about her life in the shadows, and this will be a key part of the story that people will be eager to understand. Her life in the shadows doesn't just refer to her staying out of the public eye, it also hints at the emotional and personal journey she has gone through. Being the sister of someone so famous must have had its own set of challenges. People will want to know how she has handled the pressure of being related to such a powerful figure. Has she felt overshadowed by her brother's success? Or has she taken pride in his achievements, even if it meant sacrificing her own personal recognition? The questions surrounding her experience will be endless. As she shares her thoughts, people will be eager to hear whether she has struggled with her identity, her role in the family, or her own personal dreams. Living in the shadows also means that her story has been untold for years. She has kept a lot inside, and the world is finally going to hear her side of things. This is why her revelations will likely be so impactful. People have been waiting for years to hear her story, and now they will finally get the chance. What was it like for her to grow up with a brother who was destined for greatness? How did their relationship evolve over time, especially as Pope Francis became a global figure? What emotions did she experience when he became the Pope, and how did she handle the sudden shift in attention that came with his new role? These are questions that can only be answered by her, and the answers will be important to understanding her life and her relationship with Pope Francis. As she begins to share her story, Pope Francis's sister will likely reveal not only the difficulties of living in the shadows, but also the lessons she has learned along the way. Her experiences may offer insights into the challenges of being part of a famous family and the emotional toll it can take. But her story will also show her strength, resilience, and the way she has navigated her life on her own terms. It's likely that her journey hasn't been easy, but it will be one that many people can relate to in their own way. Her perspective on her life in the shadows will not only help people understand her better, but also offer a glimpse into the life of someone who has chosen to live outside the public eye, while still being deeply connected to one of the most influential figures in the world. As Pope Francis's sister breaks her silence, the world will learn more about the woman who has stayed out of the spotlight for so long. Her life in the shadows has been one of quiet observation, but now it's time for her to share the truth. People will be captivated by her story, curious to understand the emotions and experiences that have shaped her. Her words will help shed light on a side of Pope Francis's life that has remained hidden, and it will also give the world a chance to see her for who she truly is. Through her story, we will come to understand the complexities of being part of such a prominent family and how one woman has navigated that journey in silence, until now. When Pope Francis's sister decided to break her silence, it wasn't just a quiet announcement, it was a moment that took the world by surprise, creating a ripple of shock across the globe. Why? Because the truth she was about to share was something no one expected. Pope Francis, the leader of the Catholic Church, a man admired by millions for his humility and service, had always been a figure who seemed almost untouchable in his perfection. People saw him as a symbol of faith, kindness, and goodness. But now, his sister was about to reveal something that would challenge that perception. The world was left wondering what could possibly shatter the carefully crafted image of Pope Francis. What truth could be so surprising that it would leave the world stunned? The idea of shocking the world creates a sense of anticipation and excitement. The world has always known Pope Francis as a beacon of compassion, a man who leads with humility and deep moral convictions. He is the figurehead of the Catholic Church, a position that carries great responsibility and respect. But what if there is another side to him? What if the man the world has admired for years isn't as perfect as he seems? This is what made his sister's revelation so shocking, because it had the power to change everything. It was the possibility of seeing Pope Francis in a completely different light, one that could shake the very foundation of how people viewed him. The shock factor is powerful because it taps into human curiosity. People are naturally drawn to things that surprise them, that challenge their expectations, and make them reconsider what they thought they knew. The truth that Pope Francis's sister was about to share was a chance for the world to see the man behind the public persona, to get a deeper understanding of who he really was, and perhaps uncover aspects of his character or past that had been hidden for so long. This is the kind of revelation that makes people pause and think, could everything I thought I knew about Pope Francis be wrong? Could he have secrets, struggles, or parts of his past that contradict the image of a perfect leader? It's not just the Pope's image that is at stake here, it's the entire narrative that has been built around him. As a public figure, Pope Francis has been the subject of constant scrutiny. Every word he says, every action he takes, is examined under a microscope. And while the public has always seen him as a man of great moral integrity, there has always been a sense that there must be more to his story. After all, no one is perfect, and everyone has their own struggles and challenges. Pope Francis's sister's revelation was the moment that could potentially lift the veil on the man behind the title and show the world a side of him that had remained hidden. As the world awaited her words, the questions only grew. What exactly was she going to say? Was she going to expose a scandal, reveal hidden secrets, or simply share personal stories about their life together? People couldn't help but wonder. The curiosity was so intense because the stakes were so high. A single revelation could completely shift the public's perception of Pope Francis, and that's what made the anticipation so thrilling. There was no way of knowing what the truth would be, but the fact that it was about to be revealed created a sense of urgency and excitement. The word shocking implies that what was about to be shared was not just surprising but potentially game-changing. It's one thing to hear a personal story or a memory, but it's another to hear something that could change everything. Pope Francis's sister's words had the potential to do just that. This added an element of suspense to the story. People were on the edge of their seats, wondering what she would say and how it would affect their view of the Pope. Would it be something that made them see him in a new, perhaps more human light, or would it challenge their faith in him altogether? What made this revelation even more shocking was the timing. Why now? Why after all these years of silence did Pope Francis's sister decide to speak up? This question added another layer of intrigue to the story. Had something changed in her life that made her ready to share her truth? Was there a specific event or realization that prompted her to break her silence? Or was it simply a matter of feeling that the world needed to hear her side of the story? Whatever the reason, the timing of her decision made it even more dramatic. It was as if she had been holding on to something for so long, and now, the moment had finally come to let it out. This created even more suspense as people waited to find out why she had chosen this time to reveal her shocking truth. There quote also the fact that Pope Francis is a man who has been admired by millions of people worldwide. His actions have inspired people of all faiths, and his leadership has been a source of strength for many. To hear something shocking about him would have a profound impact. It would make people rethink the way they view the Pope, and it would leave them questioning everything they thought they knew about him. This is what makes her revelation so powerful, because it has the potential to shake people's trust and admiration for him. What does that mean for the Catholic Church, for his followers, and for the people who have placed their faith in him? While the world may have been shocked by the revelation, it's important to remember that what Pope Francis' sister shares is her truth. She has lived through experiences with her brother that no one else has. Her perspective is uniquely valuable because she has known Pope Francis longer than anyone else. Her revelations may not just be shocking, they could also offer a more personal and human understanding of the Pope. Instead of just challenging the public's perception, her words might also help to explain the complexities of his life and the struggles he has faced. This is why the shock is not just about the potential scandal, it's also about gaining a deeper understanding of the man who has become the face of the Catholic Church. As Pope Francis's sister shares her truth, the world will be forced to confront the complexities of his character. The shock will come from realizing that even the most admired public figures have their own private struggles, their own secrets, and their own stories that they keep hidden. Pope Francis's sister is now giving the world a chance to understand him on a deeper level, and that's what makes her words so powerful. In sharing her story, she not only shocks the world but also humanizes a man who has been seen as larger than life. It's a moment that will change the way people view him forever, and the shock will resonate for a long time to come. The world is watching, waiting for her next words. Whatever she says will have a lasting impact, not just on Pope Francis's image, but on the way people think about the relationship between public figures and their families. It's a story of revelation, surprise, and ultimately a deeper understanding of the man behind the title of Pope. And as the world continues to process the shock, they will also begin to grapple with the reality that even the most admired figures in the world are not immune to the complexities of life, family, and the secrets that we all carry with us. As soon as Pope Francis's sister decided to break her silence, the world knew her words would have a profound impact. The anticipation was high, with everyone eager to hear what she had to say. Her words were not just going to be personal stories or memories, they had the potential to challenge the way people saw Pope Francis and the Catholic Church as a whole. What she revealed would not only affect her brother's image, but could also change the way the world viewed the relationship between public figures and their families. The power of her words was immense, and the curiosity about how they would shape the world was undeniable. For years, Pope Francis had been a symbol of humility, compassion, and leadership. As the head of the Catholic Church, he had become a figure whose every move was watched, analyzed, and discussed. His actions and decisions had inspired millions of people around the world. But now, with his sister ready to share her side of the story, everything could change. What if the image the world had of Pope Francis wasn't entirely accurate? What if there were parts of his past, his personality, or his relationship with his sister that no one knew about? This uncertainty made her words so powerful. They held the potential to reshape the way people viewed him, his family, and even the church. People were eager to know what impact her words would have, not just on Pope Francis's reputation, but on the world's understanding of the complexities that come with being part of a famous family. Living in the shadow of such a public figure comes with its own set of challenges, and Pope Francis's sister's story would offer a unique perspective on what that was like. She had lived through experiences that no one else could fully understand, and now she was ready to share them. Her words had the power to bring a new level of humanity to the Pope, showing that he was not just a leader of the church, but a man with a family and a personal history that shaped who he became. The curiosity surrounding her story was not just about learning new facts, it was about understanding the deep emotional truths that she held inside. People wanted to know how her relationship with Pope Francis had evolved over time. How had it been when he first entered the church? How did she feel about his rise to prominence? Did their family dynamics change as he became the Pope? These questions were not just about the Pope, they were about the human side of the story, the personal struggles, and the relationships that often go unnoticed in the public eye. Pope Francis's sister's words had the potential to humanize him in ways that nothing else could. It was one thing to see him as a leader, but it was another to understand him as a brother, as a man who had lived through the same ups and downs as anyone else. The impact of her words also went beyond just her relationship with her brother. The Catholic Church has long been a place of reverence and respect, and Pope Francis has played a pivotal role in shaping its direction in recent years. His leadership has been admired for its focus on humility, service, and social justice. But what if the personal experiences shared by his sister revealed something different? What if there were moments in his life that didn't align with the image of the humble, selfless Pope the world had come to admire? This possibility created a sense of suspense. The impact of her words could be far-reaching, challenging not only the public's perception of Pope Francis, but also their understanding of the Church itself. Her words could also spark a larger conversation about the role of family in the lives of public figures. People are often fascinated by the families of famous individuals, because they can offer a unique perspective on the person behind the title. The family members who know a public figure intimately have seen them at their best and their worst. They have witnessed their personal struggles, their triumphs, and their vulnerabilities. Pope Francis's sister's revelations were no different. She was in a position to offer insights that no one else could, and her words could encourage people to think more critically about the human side of public figures. The idea that someone so revered and respected could have personal experiences and emotions that the world didn't know about was an important aspect of her story. It was a reminder that even those who seem untouchable have their own battles to face. In a world where public figures are often put on pedestals, Pope Francis's sister's story had the potential to bring him down to earth in a way that would make people relate to him more. Her words could help others see that even a man who has achieved great things, like becoming the Pope, is still just a person with family, friends, and a history. This is what made her words so impactful. They had the power to change the way people viewed Pope Francis and the Catholic Church. It was a chance to see him not just as a figurehead, but as a human being, with all the complexity and nuance that comes with it. Her revelations would also serve as a reminder that there is always more to the story than what meets the eye. People often form opinions about others based on what they see in the public eye. But behind every public figure, there are layers of personal experiences, relationships, and challenges that shape who they are. Pope Francis's sister was about to pull back the curtain and reveal a side of him that had remained hidden for years. This would allow people to understand that the image of Pope Francis they had been given was not the whole picture. Her words were a reminder that there is always more beneath the surface, and the truth is often more complex than it seems. The power of her words also extended to how they could influence the future. What she shared could shape the way people viewed Pope Francis's leadership and the path he would take moving forward. People would be listening closely to every word she said, eager to understand how it would impact their perception of him and his actions. If her revelations were particularly surprising or emotional, they could change the way people saw the direction the Catholic Church was heading. This could have lasting effects on both Pope Francis's personal journey and the broader future of the Church. As Pope Francis's sister began to speak, the world was watching with bated breath. The impact of her words would be felt long after they were spoken, leaving people to reconsider everything they thought they knew about the Pope. Her story had the power to humanize him, challenge perceptions, and spark important conversations about fame, family, and the hidden sides of public figures. The curiosity surrounding her words would only grow as the world awaited her next revelation, eager to understand the full picture of the man behind the title. And as her story unfolded, the world would learn that even the most revered figures have their own stories to tell, stories that when shared have the power to change everything.